Hey everybody, welcome aboard the OH-58 Delta Kiowa Warrior from Polychop. Today we're going to talk about engine start. I've already done this video, however, I'm going to do like the full startup with all the widgets, and I also noticed that I kind of did one technique, which isn't wrong, but it's screwing some people up because there is a timer with regards to the throttle and when you bring it to idle. There's a timer that goes. So if you do it the way that I did in the first one, it's fine. You just have to be kind of quick and get everything done. So we'll go through a different procedure. So what I'm going to do is flip on the igniter circuit breaker, the FADEC. I'm going to turn on my anti-collision light. That way that we've got that. I'm going to make sure that my key is in and on. All right. And now I'm going to bring up my battery. I accidentally clicked it to the back. That's not a big deal. That's just a preheat in cold temperatures. It's not a thing you need to worry about if you do it. All right, once we bring up the battery, we're going to start seeing all these messages appear. And just get ready to acknowledge. Because there comes that audio. And I've heard that people when auto starting, for whatever reason, that's just stuck on because the auto start doesn't have that click off. Just hit that ACK right there, acknowledge, and that'll get rid of that. It'll also get rid of your messages once you keep ACKing it off. You want to bring them back up to see what they are. You just hit recall. So just up to recall and down to acknowledge. All right, so now we are good to go. The timer is not started because we haven't cracked the throttle. So we're going to crack the throttle to idle. We've got the key in and on. The igniter circuit breaker is in. So now we can hit that start. And we're just going to press and hold that to the right for about 2 seconds. Hear that clicking. Now we can release. We're looking for 14 volts by 10%. That acknowledge. DGT on the rise by 18. Pressure's up by 20. Blades are turning by 25. We're talking about NG with these numbers. You're gonna get that over and over. You just keep knocking that off. Just to acknowledge that, or ACK it, as we would say. All right, had a momentary rise there. TGT is looking good. Voltage 0 by 50% NG. NG stabilized 63, 65%. It's going to be around 64. Okay, we're looking good. All right, so we're just going to see all these things that aren't on because we don't really have power. You can see the AC gen, DC gen fail. It's because we're working off battery right now. We don't have enough oomph coming out of the engine because we're at idle to power anything. So everything's off the battery right now. So I'm just going to acknowledge all that stuff. Now we can go through our procedure. Up here at the top, DC, AC, essential bus, and our fuel boost. Back here, turn off our IFF, push our particle separator circuit breaker in. Okay, no big deal. Stack all that stuff off again. All right, so now we've got the engines set, the generators on. We're still not getting AC power because we don't have the NR. Okay, so the NR's got to be 95, I want to say it was, but above 95% is when your AC generator is going to work. It might be 97. It's around 95, 97. I can't remember because it's been a long time. But we're not going to get AC power. We do have DC generator on now because we just flicked it on. Hey guys, Kesmo from the editing floor. I just want to show you what I was talking about with that NR and the AC generator. So right now we've got NR is 100%. We can see that here on our MPD. I'll drop down. We've got AC voltage. AC generator is on. I'm just going to ease down the throttle. Try and bring that NR down just a little bit. All right, so we're at 97. You see that we still got generator power. Ease it down. There's 95. We've still got generator power. But we're getting that NR warning tone. Okay, and it's going to keep doing that because that's our danger zone right there. But I'm just going to lower it down just a little bit more. There's 94, and we can see that we've lost the generator. I'm going to bring it back up, and the generator kicked back on. Now, that's what should happen. If it doesn't happen, you just have to recycle that circuit breaker. Now, why am I telling you? Why is this important? The MMS will not operate without having that AC generator. It needs the AC voltage from the generator. It doesn't take anything from inverters and all that jazz. It has to be from the AC generator, so that's why that's important. And that's why during auto rotations, we would just go ahead and turn off the MMS because it wasn't out of bounds to actually dip down below 95, particularly during the initial part of an auto rotation. So you might lose the generator. It's bad for the MMS. So anyway, just wanted to show that to you. So at this point, we're really ready to go. We could do the FADEC test. I'm not really going to do that because we don't need to worry about that. But we're going to go ahead and bring the aircraft to full open. So I'm just going to slowly open up that throttle. I've got it set on an axis. And we're just going to do it slow. All right. The throttle is full open. I'm having to put in a little left pedal. This is just a recurring theme in the DCS world, is ground friction. I don't know who's to blame. I don't really care. I'm just telling you that it happens. If I just kind of let go of the pedal, we'll start to slide a little bit because of that lack of friction. So I'm just putting in a little bit of left pedal just to keep that from happening. All right, so throttle is full open. And we can see that our NR, it looks like it's 100, but it's actually not. We can check here on our MPD. We're going to rotate it down to NR. It says 99. So I'm going to hit that inker dinker switch. I'm going to press it up 2 or 3 times. Now it says 100, and I got that one yellow chiclet, and that's what we want. That's the chiclet that we want. All right, so at this point, the AC generator should be on, and we can double check that once again on the MPD. We just rotate down to AC volts. Okay, so we can see that we've got something. If we were to lose the AC generator, and sometimes this would happen where it wouldn't kick itself back online properly, and you would just see 0. So let me just turn off the AC gen. All right, you can see that's zeros, right? So AC gen doesn't work. We're gonna flick that back on. So if you lose NR for some reason, you're trying to do autos or something, and your NR drops below that magic 90, whatever it was, number, you're gonna lose the AC generator, even if it says on. Okay, so you might have to rotate it and flick it back on. All right, so at this point, we can start turning on all of our other systems. I'm gonna look back over here. I'm gonna turn on my APR 39 and AVR2 radar detection set, and it's going to start doing its power up, and our CMOS circuit breaker is right up here. All right, so once we get that CMOS circuit breaker, we can go ahead and flip it on, and it's going to go through its self-test, its bit. Same thing with APR 39. It's going through its bit right now, and it's going to tell us it's complete here in a moment.
AR-57 self-test.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. APR 39 operational.
All right, so we can see the APR 39 is operational, and at the same time, our CMOS bit was completed, and it's ready to go. We can arm the CMOS here on this panel below the collective. We really shouldn't do that until we take off to avoid any inadvertent flare launch. We'll talk about APR 39 and the CMOS in a separate video. And if we have the ALQ 144 system installed, the disco ball, we provide power to the base here before takeoff, and then after takeoff, we'll flick this IR jammer to transmit. All right, so at this point is where we're going to mess with our systems in the sense that we're going to turn on our MMS, get that thing all set up. We're going to do whatever communication and navigation work we need to do into the system, and of course bring power to the ACP, the armament control panel, and set up our weapons however we need to have them set up prior to takeoff. Remember, if we're using APKWS, to go into our knee board and make sure that we have the proper laser code set. Now, another thing I want to just draw your attention to, again, we're not going to go through all the setup for the nav system. You can check out that video. But one thing that will prevent us from taking off the way that we should is we can go to the init page, go to nav align. We can see that we're in auto align, and it's still aligning because it's showing a box over auto. All right, I'm going to bring power to the SCAS system. And just because I'm a creature of habit, I'm not going to turn this on just yet. Now in DCS we can turn this on, but in real world we probably wouldn't turn this on until right before takeoff, and that's because of ground resonance issues that could sometimes come from having the SCAS on the ground. So now we're ready to go. We're going to go through our before takeoff checks. One thing I want to talk about before we go through that, on our MPD, this is our fuel quantity right here, 265. Don't use this. This is garbage, all right? This is very... It's making you think you have 300 pounds. You got 265. So you're basically just going to leave this here for the duration of your flight. All right, so let's go through our takeoff checklist. NR is 100%. FADEC and auto. Systems. We've got fuel. We've got electrical. ACP is set. Co-pilot cyclics engaged. We'll talk about that in a second. Crew, passenger, mission equipment, armor side panels secure. That's just to make sure that our side panels are actually closed, because you don't want to fly around with these open because it's going to create a lot of drag. That is our checklist complete. Now this co-pilot cyclics engaged, there's actually a lock. It's not even present here because we never used it, But you could disengage the co-pilot cyclic so it would not move. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, why wouldn't you do that? Because it'd make it easier for the MMS. Yes, but if I were to die or something bad happens to me, it's probably not a good time for you to be fumbling around trying to unlock the cyclic. So we left the cyclic engaged, even if it was a non-rated crew member with us, because at least then they would have a chance of living. All right, so we've done all that stuff. The last thing that I would do prior to takeoff, and I'm literally holding my joystick with my knees because that's the way I would do it in real life, is I would go ahead and engage the pitch roll and the yaw. I would turn off the force trim. We're going to talk about force trim more and more in a future video because I know there's some issues that people are having trying to use force trim, but typically we flew without force trim. Make sure that I've got the right page up, and now the aircraft's ready to go. Anyhow, guys, I hope that's more clear, a little bit more helpful. I know some people were getting hung up on the whole timing thing. When I make these videos, I really do try to break it down into smaller bite-sized chunks. And the problem with something like a startup is you're covering a lot of different things. Of course, we could dive into the weapons here. We could dive into the MMS. We've done that in previous videos. I've got an ASE video that I'll probably publish today as I'm making this one. But it's hard to kind of break these things down. And when I do break it down, I don't necessarily think about all the little aspects that the little second and third order effects. So hopefully this clears some of that up, and it helps you guys enjoy this module. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks to YouTube and Patreon members for your support, and we'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy.